I'm doing my nightly walk again with wifey.
What's up?
So today I got a super interesting topic. We're talking about the debt ceiling that is not in agreement as of right now. Today's Friday, and we have about a week to figure it out, or then we're going to be in big trouble. So what better way with the AI craze to ask Google's new AI tool, see what might happen and how to prepare yourself. So I asked Google's new AI tool that's in Google Chrome, what are the consequences of a default of the US debt. So first it came up with higher interest rates on debt. So that means if you have a credit card or a personal loan, that's going to be higher. If you need to take out debt in the future, that's going to be higher. On credit card debt, I don't know how much higher that can get because it's already at like 30-something%. So if you're going to if they're going to up it to what do they want to do, like 50%, seems to me like that's crazy to up it to 50% or 35, 40, because that's just price gouging. If you charge people 40% APR on the debt. Second thing that they're predicting is a recession. Well, that's pretty easy because I think we're already in one. They just haven't formally come out and said it yet. But I've spoke to contractors, real estate agents, and everybody's saying the same thing, that we're in the middle of it. They just haven't declared it, because if they actually would declare it, they'd be in bigger trouble, and then the upcoming election is going to go towards the other party, just because whenever there's a recession, people don't want to spend the money and they want to do something else. So whichever party's in power is going to lose. So let's look at the third one, a drop in buyers and property price in the housing market. So we have seen a little bit about that yet, not too much yet, but I think it's coming. Hold on, my microphone wasn't on yet. So now my mic's on. So we've seen a little drop in home property prices, not too much yet. Interest rates doubled since last time, but it's crazy how we've basically kept prices still sky high, even though interest rate doubled. So what do I think with the house prices going to happen? I think they're going to probably come down a little bit, but housing is a kind of supply and demand type of deal. So if you want to live in an area that everybody else wants to live in, you're not going to have the option to buy cheap because everybody wants to live there. And if you're going to choose to live in a different area that's not that popular, house prices might go down. So in my area in Las Vegas, house prices have come down a little bit, but not as I expected as much, with interest rates basically doubling. So the economy was doing way better than everybody expected. So let's go over the next point that Google's AI tool said: a halt to construction and home improvement projects. I can affirm you that is 100% the case. Allison's dad's a contractor, and I spoke to he's in California Bay Area, and he said that people don't want to do too many home projects anymore. And I've spoke to some contractors in Las Vegas, and people are also halting their construction projects because they think holding out might be better. They don't have the money, they can't get a loan on it, they can't do what they normally do because interest rates are so high. So they would have to charge an extra premium on all that other stuff, on labor, on cost, and then when it comes to sell it, you would have to charge a premium too. So that is a no bueno. And yeah, with construction coming to a halt, as I predicted, that's not good for the economy, because when people stop doing home improvement projects, they stop spending money. It just has a huge ripple effect down the economy when people start making less home improvement projects. So let's look at a rise of cost of borrowing money for the government. So when the government needs more money and they raise prices, that's going to trickle down to everybody. So if the government's going to charge you more fees to register your car or your business, That's just the simplest term. They do it in a way more fancy term, but I'm going to use just that as an example. So if they're going to need more money for roads, for whatnot, or just more money in general, and they increase it, the DMV fees, that's just one of them. And your car, instead of $100, now $200 to register, a business isn't just going to eat that cost, it's going to put it next to the consumer. It's going to push it back onto the consumer, and that is you. So that means that if they're going to increase prices, you're going to pay for it. So that is also not very, very good. Let's look at the next point. Downgrade of US credit rating. Well, normal common folks, if they downgrade our credit rating, doesn't really have to do too much with us. We're, as Americans inside the United States, you're not going to really feel too much of a difference, but overall you're probably still going to feel the pain of the default because of spending and savings and all that you're going to have to not be able to do, or going to have to do because of the debt ceiling has reached. So let's sum this all up. So do I think this AI generative tool was accurate or not? So I'm making this video on Friday, and in 2 weeks we're going to see, and I'm going to make a follow-up video in a year to see how it affected us. It might just be that people are going to be like, no biggie, we're just gonna keep on rolling, or it's going to be a huge deal and it's going to hurt millions of jobs, and we're going to be in a full-blown recession, and then we are going to be very mad. And the person to be very mad at is always the easiest person to blame, the president. So they're going to have him telling him that he's at fault. And if you ask political parties, they're going to blame each other. But frankly, it's his government. He's going to have to own that, like they said with Donald Trump when they had the last government shutdown. I think that was like 2017 or 18, and they said, you got to own it. I think there's a video of Chuck Schumer saying, you're got to own it. So Joe Biden's going to have to own that one. And that's just politics for you. And it's really sad that people are going to have to feel it in their wallets with what happened. So how am I preparing myself for it? How are we preparing ourselves for it?
We just got rid of car loan, a personal loan.
Yeah, so when you have money, you can play around with that a little bit. And so when somebody told me we can borrow money cheap, I'd rather borrow money cheap than spend my own money. So if back in a few years ago when you can get a 3-4% loan, or what was it, 2.5, 3, some car loans were 2.9% from CarMax. It's like, you don't really want to pay that off too much, because at 2.9% basically it's free, right? But when you have auto loans that are in the 12-13%, that's gonna really, really hurt. So
we're also not taking out cash out refi on our primary residence.
Yeah, so we're also not going to do any refis, and that's going to lead me into the next topic. So I've been watching TikToks lately and some YouTube shorts, and there's ads out there saying, look at the horse.
I know, this is beautiful. Show them where we are.
So we are here at Lone Mountain. There's a horse right over there.
The strip is right behind us.
The strip, this is one of the most gorgeous areas ever. The strip is right behind us, and this is one of my favorite walkways. So back to the TikTok ads. So I'm seeing ads that are saying, have you bought your house 3 years ago? You are now able to get $100,000 to $300,000 free and clear of your house, up to $300,000, and there's no interest payment and there's no payments ever. So this company is basically saying, I read a little bit through it, but I did not read the fine print. So what this company wants to do is they're going to buy a portion of your equity of the property's value. So let's say your property's worth $1 million. This company comes in and says, we're going to buy 10 to 30% of your property. So they're going to say, we're going to believe your house is going to go up in the next 5 years. So we're gonna give you $100,000 in cash, free and clear, and they're basically gonna put something like a lien on your house, or like or put it in like some sort of almost like an LLC where they own a share of it. And when you're gonna sell it, they want the 10% off of the net sale value. So if you're gonna sell it for $2 million in 5 years, they're gonna take their percentage. So they're basically gonna take $200,000, their 10% that they gave you today. So I think that's super dangerous, because if you're gonna do moves like that, it's gonna help you in the meantime, but it's not gonna help you in the long term. Because if you're gonna sell your house at $2 million, and it went up so much money, and they're gonna take another $100,000, that is an easy way for them to make money, and basically gonna cost you way more, because they're gonna take that and you're gonna have to pay realtor fees and all that, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I did not make that much money on the sale of my house. So don't do that. Don't take out credit cards. Don't do anything that's gonna hurt you in the long run. Live within your means. I know, I hate saying that, because it's like we're Americans, we love financing stuff, or we love financing it, we love doing, we love going on vacation, and just put on a credit card, do something. But these times are now over. We are now officially done with credit cards, because you cannot put stuff on credit cards and carry a balance at 40% or 30% interest, because your trip to wherever it was going to be, if you can't pay it off, just got 30% more expensive. So don't do that. Don't take out HELOCs. And this other company, I have a screenshot right here. If you heard about it, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I only read how it works, and I did not read the fine print. Probably like 60-90 pages of fine print, that you can't sell it below, like all this kind of other things. But it is crazy now when we're thinking that we're going to default in a matter of a week and a half, 2 weeks. And now we're here just walking around, minding our own business, while there are actually going to be problems. And I believe that this hasn't happened before, so we don't know 100% the consequences of what is going to happen. Because if other nations then think that the US dollar is worthless, and they're going to dump that on the market, we're back to huge inflation. And so it's like a whole economy spiel where everything just ties into each other. It's just like a Swiss watch. Like when you move the smallest little what do you call that? The smallest little wheels, it turns something on the whole other end of the wheel, on the whole manufacturing thing. And now we're just gonna start saying, we're gonna change this and do that, and we're gonna try to find a way to do it. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do a video in a year from now and see how this went, how this turned out in a year from now. It might be a